Hi friends, I'm preparing to teach Christian Light Math 2 for the second time and wanted to give you an explanation of the curriculum and a flip through. I'll share 5 main things you should know about CLE's Math 2 and then show you sample lessons and also let you know what's in the teacher's guide. 1 is made up of consumable work text workbooks called Lightunits. All the information is written to the student within the workbooks, making this a very independent choice. Although you can reuse the teacher guides for all your children, the workbooks are consumable. 2. It has 170 lessons per level, including quizzes and tests. Lessons 5 and 10 are quizzes, which are perforated pages in the back of the book. Lesson 16 is a test that you pull out from the middle of the book before giving the workbook to your child. And then finally, lesson 17 will be a just for fun math activity. 3. It's a traditional style spiral program. CLE is a traditional spiral math, not conceptual, not Common Core, or mastery style, where only one skill is practiced at a time. The lessons are designed to be 30% new material and 70% review, so children are continually learning bite-sized amounts of new information and reviewing previously learned material until it has been completely mastered. We'll look at this in more detail later, but here's a quick look. This is the new material, and then the We Remember section, which is the majority of the lesson, is the review. Children should know everything in the We Remember section and be able to complete it independently. 4. You must use the placement test before buying this curriculum. It's critical that you use the placement test, also known as the diagnostic test, before switching to CLE. You cannot just buy the level that matches your child's grade level. CLE's scope and sequence runs ahead of many other curricula, so if you skip the placement test, your child may end up struggling. It's normal for children testing into this curriculum to need a lower level, especially if you switch into CLE later on. 5. CLE 201 is a review of CLE Math 1. Don't judge whether your child is ready for CLE Math 2 by looking at the first light unit, because it's a series of checks designed to pinpoint where your child needs more review of the previous grade. If they completed CLE Math 1 and you homeschool year-round, you can consider skipping the first light unit only. However, if you're new to the curriculum or take at least 3 weeks off between levels, it's better not to skip 201. That being said, even though we're year-round homeschoolers, we still do the first light units of CLE Math because the review is beneficial. You can see there's, for every lesson, they will do counting, flashcards, speed drill, and then there's a practice set. And if the child gets a certain score, they could just move on to the next lesson. And if not, then there's extra practice for them to do before moving on. I'm going to show you what a sample lesson looks like at the beginning and end of the school year. This is from Unit 202, so this is towards the beginning of the school year. There's a fact here, there's counting, write the numbers that your teacher dictates, there's a flashcard practice, a speed drill. The speed drills are in the back of the book, so it's about a half a page of speed drills per lesson. And then they record their score on a graph, so children learn how to graph as they do their speed drill. Here's the new material. It says new here, where they're learning the 10 digits. And then they're also learning number sentences. And then this is a review of Math 1, adding 4 numbers. And then here, the We Remember section starts. It's a lot of pages of math, but there's also a lot of white space, and a lot of the pages are instructions written to the student. So there's pages of instructions if you were to add them up. I'll give you another example of a lesson from 202. Here's lesson 8, another fact here, counting, flashcards, speed drills, recording your score in the graph. Here they're learning tens and ones. And then there's a quick review of a concept that was from Math 1, that's last year. They're going to be reviewing carrying to tens place. That's also from first grade. That's just a quick review. And then the We Remember review section starts. And this is all things that they should know. Money, clocks, and then that's the end of the lesson. So Here are sample lessons from toward the end of the program. This is from 210. Here they're learning a fact, counting, skip counting, flashcards. These are essential. I'm glad I prioritized flashcards and speed drills in the younger grades, because once kids get to 4th grade and they start long division, and as they get to higher level of math, it's really important for them to have automatic recall of math facts. The speed drill, they'll do that. That's in the back. Minus and plus, things like 12 minus 7, 16 minus 8, these all need to be known automatically. And then there's also some multiplication in here, 9 times 2, 10 times 4, 11 minus 8, there's subtraction in all of them. They need to be done within 2 minutes. And then here, the new material is they're learning diameter, and then they start the We Remember section. We generally don't skip any problems in the We Remember section at this grade level because it's so important for them to learn automatic recall of all their math skills. Here, I'll skip ahead to lesson 8 here. Same thing. The We Remember section is 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Again, a lot of white space, and I find it totally appropriate and doable. Now for the teacher guides. There's 2 teacher guides, one for 201 to 205, and the second for 206 to 210. The teacher manual is essential because it has the answers to the light units and the answers to the assessments, which make checking work very quick. It has teaching points. It has board work. It explains exactly how to teach and gives you sample problems to write on the board if you choose. There's also helpful information in the appendix. Like there's a skills index. If you want to know exactly when a certain concept was taught, you could just look it up and it'll tell you what unit, no matter where it is in the program. There's alternate tests. If your child scores below a certain grade, they can take the alternate test. You can average them. I like to use alternate tests as practice tests if a child needs a practice test before taking their real test. And then there's also the scope and sequence, so that you know all the skills that are covered in the program. Here's an example from 206 lesson 15. There's the lesson preparation. Here it looks like there's hands-on activities that you could do. There's what new skills are going to be learned. Or here it's identifying right angles. Oral activities. These are the things the teacher goes over orally, like dictation. You have to dictate these numbers for the child to write in their workbook, so they're not able to do that if you don't have the teacher guide. And how to teach right angles. So here's some helpful hints. And then there's the reduced size pages, so you can quickly check their work. If I had to pick 3 things I love about CLE math, it's that it's rigorous, independent, and simple. CLE math has helped my kids to master the math concept they should know for their age and test very high in standardized tests. I'm also able to work part-time outside the home since the lessons are written to the student. There are no bells and whistles, no teacher-intensive games or activities, just solid math. I hope this has helped you. Have a blessed day.